Over the last 7 years, I've had the experience of working with so many different women, with accountants, coaches, and attorneys. And many of the accountants I worked with 6 or 7 years ago came to me because they wanted to pass the CPA exam. They wanted to get promotions, maybe become VP controller, become something else in the company, move higher up, and they needed a CPA certification for that. One of my clients wanted to start her own accounting business, and she came to me. We're working on relationship coaching, business coaching, and of course passing the CPA exam. And very early on, she realized that passing the CPA exam, her failing that exam the last 3 times, had nothing to do with not being qualified to be a CPA. It had nothing to do with how well she was studying, how wise she was, what a good person she was, or a commitment to creating an accounting business that would support her and her family and leave generational wealth. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with asking out loud. Last week on a podcast, I got asked, why did you decide to write a book called Asking for the Sale? When I first decided to write this book, it wasn't called Asking for the Sale. It was called Asking Out Loud. I'm going to share why with you. As I was working with a client who wanted to start her accounting business, we got onto the conversation of asking for what you want out loud. And there are hundreds of ways to ask out loud, because how you ask out loud determines whether or not you're going to ask for the sale and how big a sale you ask for. And when you have a premium coaching business where you're selling a $100,000 coaching offer, $250,000 coaching offer, or maybe even a $25K coaching offer, transformational offer, how do you ask for this if you're not used to asking out loud? And so we were talking, and she said to me, this is affecting me so badly, because as you're coaching me, I see how it's showing up in my sex life. And I said, how is it showing up in your sex life? And she said to me, for the first time, I realized that if I had told my husband to just move 3 centimeters to the left, I would be having the best sex of my life. But Mimi, I don't think anybody wants to ask that out loud. It's interesting. And she loves Starbucks. So I said to her, when you go to Starbucks and you turn around and see like 100 people behind you and they're all late for work, do you ask for what you want? Or do you ask for what will be best for everybody else behind you? And she said, I am never going to ask out loud for something that I want, because my drink is complicated. It's going to take time. I am just going to ask for black coffee and go to work, even though that's not what I want, just so that nobody behind me yells at me. And I said, where else are you not asking out loud? And she realized for herself that it all starts at home. Charity always starts at home. And she said, I'm not asking out loud in my sex life, so I'm having the worst sex of my life, which makes me despise my husband. It's not his fault, because I haven't told him what I want or how I want it. It's affecting me because when he says, do you need help with that? I get mad at him and I snap at him, because I think, you're not supposed to ask me if I need help with folding the laundry. You're supposed to know you need to do that so I can study for my CPA exam. That's why I'm failing my exam, because I have to do everything around here. And I said, have you asked out loud for what you want from your family, to support you, to give you the space to create not just the exam, because the exam is just the exam. It's what you want the exam for, which is to create the business that supports and wraps around the lifestyle that you desire. Nobody wants to pass the CPA exam. We want what passing the exam gives us. Nobody wants $1 million. We want what the $1 million gives us, but we have to ask out loud. How is it showing up in your business? How you ask out loud for the sex that you want with your husband, for the coffee that you desire at Starbucks, is how you ask out loud for the money that you require to be paid for the work that you do in your business. If you require, based on the work that you do, $100,000 to work with you, You practice asking out loud in all other areas of your life, because how you do life is how you do money. How you do money is how you do everything in your business. How you do relationships is how you do money. How you do relationships is how you sell. So how are you doing life? If you're married, how are you doing life, sex, chores, housekeeping, whatever it is, with your spouse? How are you doing parenting with your kids? What are you asking for? And do you believe that when you ask your husband for the thing, do you believe you will receive it? If you don't believe that, you will never believe that you can ask for $250,000 and get it and receive it. It's all tied together. And so this is what inspired me to write Asking Out Loud, which has now become Asking for the Sale, because I saw that asking for the sale never starts when we get to the money part or the investment to work with us in a sales conversation. It starts when we wake up in the morning, because charity begins at home. It starts with how we show up with our own families, with our sisters, our brothers, with our kids, with our husbands, and how we ask for what we want, not just using words. Asking out loud can be in an email, in the way that you show up, in how you're being in the world. Teaching people how to treat you based on who you're being in the world. Asking out loud depends on who you believe you are, who you believe Jesus says you are. Do you believe you're worthy, you're complete, you're whole? Do you believe that nothing outside of you, who's in the White House, the elections, your vibe, full moon, do you believe that none of those affect you because of who God says you already are, simply because Jesus says you're already complete? Do you believe that everything you need for the sale, everything you need for the business, everything you need for the life that you have, that you're doing right now, God has already given you, just like David and Jeremiah? He put it in your prosperous womb when he formed you in your mother's womb. Do you believe that? And how does that make you show up? To ask for what you want, not to be aggressive, rude, or demanding, but to respectfully be who God says you are and say, can you move just 3 milliliters to the left? Can I have the whatever it is, that concoction at Starbucks is for you? Ask for it without feeling guilty, without feeling like you're hurting somebody's feelings. Because if you don't do that, imagine raising your offer from a 10K to a 250K, and then going to that first sales conversation, and you've been practicing in the mirror. You have all the best sales scripts in the world. You have a million strategies from your online guru. And when you show up, if you have never asked or practiced asking out loud for what you want in life, you're going to have a hell of a time saying the investment to work with me is $250,000 without the urge to throw up, without judging yourself, without feeling guilty. And in Asking for the Sale, I write about the skills and tools that we use to ask out loud, and 100 different ways, well, maybe 25. I don't know 100 yet, but I'll find them, that we can use to ask out loud, whether it's asking someone to fold the laundry. A lot of times I notice with my family, I do it too. Somebody says, oh, you need help with that? Oh, I got it. How many things have you got that are keeping you from being your best in working with your clients, in showing up in your messaging, in showing up in your marketing? Here's the thing. If you don't ask out loud, you're going to need to know how to master sales objections. You know why? Because when you can ask out loud, you're able to ask for the sale simply with one email. Not an email that says you have to buy this. No. It's an email that articulates what your client wants. It's an email that shows that you understand what she cares about, you understand what she values the most, you understand what is most important to her, and she sees herself in the outcome just in that one email, and she can raise her hand, ask you for the sale, and then sell herself into the offer during the natural high-ticket sales conversation, because she cannot wait to have it. It's the email that you send that she reads it and goes, I need to move fast without any excuses into this offer because it's for me. I see myself. It's the email that you send that supports her to remember who God says she is within that outcome, problem, challenge, desire, opportunity. But that only comes when you've practiced asking out loud. Asking out loud is what supports you to send unfiltered messaging out that pre-qualifies the client, because you have no qualms asking for what you want, and it shows and it supports your client to step into what she wants. No excuses, because you have led by example. So start asking for what you want at home. Ask for what you want in the mall, at the store. Ask for what you want with your family. Ask for what you want, because you're whole and complete. And asking for what you want empowers them to ask for what they want and go get it. If you don't ask out loud, your clients do not move fast without excuses. You attract the wishy-washy people who don't know if they can afford it, who have to think about it, who want you to call them after the holidays. As I dive more and more into the book, Asking for the Sale, I realized that selling has everything to do with relationships and who God says we are, than it ever has to do with money. It has to do with being in service and being so hungry to share your gifts, so that when you get to heaven, there's not a drop left in you. You say, God, I give it all I got. I give everything you gave me away. I am empty and I am home. You ran a good race. Asking for the sale is not about making them buy. It's about being the powerful leader who supports and guides someone to confidently trust herself to tell her husband to move 3 inches or 3 centimeters to the left. To confidently ask for the thing she wants, even when it's not money. Ask out loud without guilt, without condemnation, without judgment. To ask for the promotion, so she can ultimately say the investment to work with me is $500,000. And it's so easy and simple to say, it feels like she just said, pass the salt. The investment to work with me is $500,000. Pass the salt. That is what you require for the work that you do. Ask for it. But if you're not asking out loud in every other area of your life, I guarantee you, you're asking for the 10K offer. And there's so many women that I work with who have passed the 10K offer 30 years ago, okay? But they're stuck selling 10K offers because they're stuck in rooms with male gurus in masterminds who tell them, who groom them to sell 10K offers to a million different people instead of the $100,000 coaching offer they want to sell to one person. You never ask for the thing you want. Be the thing God says you are. Work in the way that He says you are. Be in the assignment He's called you to do if you're not asking out loud for the little things in your life. So hit submit. Keep coming back as I write the book. I'm going to keep dropping some insights on this channel. Drop in the comments below what you want to see in the book, what you want to see less of, more of, and let me know how this lands for you.